.NET Rocks Search Engine, Ineta Component Code Challenge Contest Contribution by Eric Ziko. About me. My name is Eric Ziko. I love to code and have been playing with computers since I was 6 years old. I've been programming since the age of 12 and professionally programming for 20 years. You can find my resume at www.ericzyko.com. What inspired this project? I love .NET. I often listen to a podcast called .NET Rocks. .NET Rocks is the premier podcast for .NET developers. I love .NET Rocks. You could say I'm a .NET Rocksaholic. .NET Rocks is hosted by Carl Franklin and Richard Campbell. I got to meet Carl and Richard. In 2010, I was chosen as the first Ride-Along with .NET Rocks road trip winner. Carl and Richard were so kind as to let me drive from San Francisco to LA with them and kind enough to pay all my travel expenses. If you listen to podcast 544, you will hear them introduce me to the audience and mispronounce my name as Eric Ziko.
A whole bunch of people started getting real motion sick on the RV because we had it's not just you and I, of course, Tom, our driver, and then we had our ride-along winner from Mountain View, Eric Ziko, who's here in the audience in Los Angeles. He gets to fly home tomorrow, and we're going to get another ride-along winner here to go with us to San Diego.
And just so you know, he did give us scotch before we picked him. Now, I'm not saying that the scotch was the reason that we picked him. All I'm saying is that is what happened. Those are the facts.
Yeah, something like that.
I also listen to Hansel Minutes, hosted by Scott Hanselman. I've been following Scott's blog and public speaking for 10 years. You can find his mega awesome site at www.hanselman.com. I also get to meet Scott. At the 2011 Dev Connections conference, I was lucky enough to bump into Scott. Pwop. It is the sound that your hand makes when you do something dumb and smack yourself on the forehead in frustration. It is also the name of the production studio owned by Carl Franklin. Carl is an amazing musician, sound engineer, programming guru whose company, Pwop Productions, produces podcasts in order to support his music habit. Pwop produces the following shows: .NET Rocks, Hansel Minutes, Run As Radio, and The Tablet Show. Pwop has produced tons of good material. Pwop Productions has produced over 1,618 shows. Most of the shows have PDF transcripts of the audio. One day I was trying to find an episode. Often I listen to .NET Rocks at the gym or on my commute to work. Sometimes I later want to find an episode in which a particular topic was discussed. One day they were talking about COBOL on .NET Rocks. So I went to the search on .NETRocks.com and I typed COBOL and I could not find the show. The .NET Rocks search engine was born. Here is an example of me searching for COBOL in the custom search engine that I created for .NET Rocks. .NET Rocks Search Engine Overview. Pwop Productions provides an XML feed to Apple in order to publish metadata about their podcast to iTunes. Here is an example of the XML feed. By using this XML feed, I was able to download the following metadata about each show from the internet: title, description, URL link to episode's webpage. Downloading and scraping PDF transcripts. By following the naming convention that Pwop Productions had established for naming its PDF links, I was able to scrape/download the PDF transcripts for all the shows that have transcripts. Here is the PDF transcript from where they mention me. And here is them spelling my name wrong as they pronounced it. And here is my search engine locating the same content. The contextual highlighting in the browser is implemented by my search engine. It highlights relevant terms in the results. One search engine to rule them all. I was able to build a .NET Rocks search engine that searches not only .NET Rocks, but across all the shows. Hansel Minutes, The Tablet Show, and Run as Radio. Using the following third-party components approved for Ineta Code Component Challenge, Italisoft.image PDF reader, and Kendo UI by Eric, I was able to build the search engine. I used the .image PDF reader to extract the text from the PDF transcripts. Why use Italisoft.image? I tried open source code off the internet to read the text of the PDFs. All the code that I found was error-prone, slow, and inaccurate. I tried another package from a major competitor, but the install story did not work for me. In about an hour, I was able to very quickly build the PDF reading Lego for my search engine using Italisoft's PDF reader with minimal code. Look, tiny amount of code. This is all the code used to parse the PDF. And for the UI, Kendo UI by Eric. Kendo UI was used to build the administration UI for the search tool. Here is the grid where we administer the metadata for each show in the database. Here is us editing the metadata for an individual show. Here is the error log done in Elma, but displayed in Kendo UI. Here is the samples homepage linking to various client search implementations. Why choose Kendo UI? Awesome suite of UI controls. Awesome documentation. Super easy to use. Super easy to integrate with Microsoft server-side data technologies. The Microsoft stack. I use the following components from Microsoft. ASP.NET MVC. I created the following JSON endpoints using ASP MVC controllers. The search controller provides JSON endpoints that provide data to the search screens. We have doSearch, getAll, and doSearch with highlighting methods, both regular and JSON-P implementations. I created the following JSON endpoints to drive the functionality of the admin screen. It has rebuild index and clear exception logs. I use the web API for credit operations in the admin interface. So we have a shows controller that provides the functionality for editing detail screens. I use the Kendo UI grid in the admin interface, and I used OData on the server side to provide the data to the grid. Client UI. To test out some different interface ideas and some different libraries, I built 4 different 100% single-page JavaScript client search applications using a combination of the following libraries: Kendo UI, Twitter Bootstrap, Knockout.js, Require.js, CoffeeScript, and of course everyone's favorite, jQuery. But where does the data go? I use RavenDB for data storage and indexing. Why RavenDB? When I first started this project, I started by writing the search engine with Lucene.net. About Lucene. Lucene is awesome. Incredibly full-featured, robust, fast, but Lucene can be difficult to use. The Lucene query syntax is tricky. Without writing a lot of code or using a utility called Luke, it's hard to get visibility into your data once it's indexed. Properly managing read-write locks over the index files is tricky. I wanted a link interface to my Lucene data. I found one link provider on Codeplex, but quickly ran into problems with it. Although my Lucene implementation worked, I did not love it. Then I discovered RavenDB. RavenDB is a document-based database similar to Redis and MongoDB. It's built in .NET. It's easy to use. It has a great user interface. It's fast. It can be run as a server or embedded directly inside a .NET application, which makes it easy to deploy to shared host providers. It uses Lucene as its core search engine and provides a great abstraction over the Lucene library. And it provides link to Lucene. Enough with the jibba jabba. Show me the search engine, fool. Now let's demo the application. We're at the home page for the client-side demos. We're going to double-click on this one. And we're going to do a search for COBOL. Oh my god, that's fast. The search is done by a custom debouncing function that runs 500 milliseconds after the last keyboard input. If you look in the upper right-hand corner, you can see toast come up that indicates every time we search. So let's do a search for my last name. I'm not in there. Oh, that's right, they spelt it wrong. Here I am on show 544. I'd really like to be able to search by Ziko, so let's fix that. So we're going to edit the metadata of show 544, and we're going to add me, update that, and there I am. And it shows that my terms were found in the keywords. Let's search by both Ziko and Ziko. And it shows highlighted terms in both places that they were found. Let's do a search for something that might have been discussed on both shows. It looks like on Hansel Minutes and .NET Rocks, they've discussed Linksys routers. Let's do a search for Miguel Diacaza, because I love listening to that guy. Wow, he's appeared a lot. The search is limited to 128 results right now, subject to tuning. Let's do a search on RavenDB. And finally, because it comes up a lot more often on .NET Rocks than you would think, let's do a search on Scotch. The boys sure do like their Scotch. Well, this concludes the tour of the .NET Rocks search application. I hope you've enjoyed it.